Hey guys, before we start, just want to, as always, do the join the Discord thing. I know, I do it every video at this point. But if I'm gonna find some normal human beings, looking at you, Dio, in this community to play League with, it's necessary. We open our story upon a flashback of a man who hates Victorians being long-winded, going on a Calcit-level rant about how epic things used to be, and how much these tea-sipping, vinegar-loving, Indian artifact-stealing bastards messed up Tara. Then some guy smashes his wine glass and calls him a fraud. Cut to a small village in the Trent County, and we got the dynamic duo of Tingus and Bingus arresting and beating random Tarans who they think have been some naughty boys. Now Reed decides to be a devious little creature and get up to some mischief, and commits arson, lighting a storehouse on fire, that she and the Terrans can use to get out. Theon, one of the guys with the Sprite, busts out his radio, because life isn't just about surviving, it's about the Mets, baby, let's go Mets, hit a home run! The Tarans were looking to steal some medicine, but that went about as well as high school me talking to women. Luckily, Reed is there to use her preferred method of healing, cauterization. To end the first story section, we see Selman, who it took me about 3 chapters to be fully sure she was a woman and not a pretty boy, beat the ever-loving shit out of the Victorians who followed the gang out of town. Just before she can kill them, Reed steps out of the shadows with a, "Don't you know, murder is bad." FC1 opens with the boys talking about how much money Reed has on her. And I mean, if the silver-plated stockings are any indication, a decent chunk. We also see Bagpipe and Chen walking around the place with the dead people in The Lord of the Rings. Like, literally, it's a marsh full of people more dead than a terminally ill man who didn't complete enough time skips scheduling a surgery in the UK. Chen and Bagpipe find that they're on that Mephisto shit, and are being converted into goofy little skeleton men. And they go waltz on their merry way to go find Ablana and stop her from making Poe so cringe, her own men rise from the dead in protest. Back with the Terrans, Selman has left Reed for dead. She's scared of her because she speaks in Times New Roman, while they're all Comic Sans enjoyers. Meanwhile, Reed runs into a patrolman who speaks Terran. I like the inclusion of him not feeling like a Terran just because he speaks it. Not everyone who speaks a language feels like they belong to the culture, after all. Reed runs away and gets some memories of her sister. Go on, little Lau. The best way to not be seen is to kill all witnesses. Rip them limb from limb. Leave no survivors, and utterly annihilate all resistance. Can we get pizza after? Of course we can. Snap to Harmony, where her and one of the many eyeless Arknights NPCs are discussing some business. And everyone clears out the room until it's just the two of them. No, I know it's Harmony, but they're not plapping. Back with Reed, she's telling Theon about her sad codename and agrees to escort them. Starting off chapter 2, Puzzle is in his room when the captain of his Special Forces squad comes in. I'm sorry, Fisher. I need a real Draco dick, not a Voover femboy. Dream cheated just like you, fucking bitch. Sir, what are you doing? What does it look like? I'm getting into the head of that mint ice cream looking ass feline. By making her cuck you? Get the fuck out of my room. Fisher is being his normal self, where he's as fun to be around as a mountain lion with rabies, but he reveals that he's got that rock candy cancer. Damn, bro. Who asked? Back with the squad, Selman is showing why leadership isn't just who can shout the loudest, as her plans are as coherent as the homeless man down on Main Street who forgot how to speak English from too much crack. Reed shows up and her and Theon wander off to try and get supplies. They don't have much luck, as things aren't all sunshine and rainbows in the village either. Meanwhile, Selman tries to ambush a caravan being guarded by Chen and Bagpipe. She must not know what kind of game she's in, because Profitable Dragon Girl main protagonist is never going to be allowed to lose here. Selman tries to act big, but Chen puts her in her place, like any League of Legends player after they kill someone. Gender-bent cop Mushu also deduces that she wears the Dublin clothes because she's an Ablana fangirl. Reed then comes out and gets the fighting to stop. Back to Harmony, she's talking to a taller, stronger version of me. Not as handsome, but who can be. They talk about their plans, and Mandragora, who for all they know is in about as glowing and unblemished a state as a Margaret Thatcher statue in Scotland. They talk around each other for a while, but the Brigadier doesn't give any openings. After all, Harmony's the type of girl to both wear and know Victoria's secret. A real scary 1-2 punch. They also know Reed's alive, and she's back with the gang taking some infected from the village along with them.
And every single night I went down with complaint.
To begin the chapter, we get the poet and the rich guy again, but they don't say much. Back with the gang, Reed is bringing them along with some infected to a Rhodes Island safe house. While everyone is finally happy and hopeful with the gang, Puzzle is concocting his most devious lick yet. Chen and Bagpipe are discussing how Reed may well be a sussy imposter, as Bagpipe feels like she remembers her from somewhere before she got brought by everyone's favorite dead-as-fuck grandma, Outcast. In another dead people marsh, they find a bunch of Victorians and assume it's another strike from a group of dead homies. Selman returns and demonstrates a complete distaste for consent as she berates Reed for using no too much. They get to the next village, and while everyone else is partying it up, Reed is having her anime protagonist brooding moment. Bagpipe finds her and starts talking about home and the past. I very much miss those peaceful days at home.
Damn it, woman! I wanted dinner on the table at 6! I had to be in the mines by 5 this morning, and you can't even do this! Shut the hell up, Harold! I'm tired of you doing nothing but drinking and going to the pub after work!
Mom, Dad, where the hell is Laushini? She took one of my books again. I'm gonna beat her within an inch of her life. I remember it like it was yesterday. I find that concerning. Bagpipe sees that Reed is trying to answer some hard questions she has, and asks if she has anyone she can confide in. And well, it's complicated. They see Morin, one of the infected people Reed brought, is out and can't see well, so they go over to help her, and she talks about wanting to fight for the Taurans, which feels inspiring to Reed. Back at a noble party, Puzzle is doing his Patrick Bateman roleplay as he creepily watches Harmony from across the party. It seems like the newspapers believe that the trolls are going to war, but meanwhile the nature of the arson we witnessed at the beginning of the event does surprise her.
I'm telling you, it's been crazy at the Dipper Dice factory. She exploded, but I'm not that sad, because now we got more demand for my pudding pops.
No, this can't be. Dippin' Dots may really go bankrupt this time. They were my one true love.
She must have figured out how screwed Dublin is. I love it when women are scared.
Puzzle finishes the report on Dublin's giga-stinky, no-good, very bad moves, and gives it off to a superior, who if I didn't know Puzzle was an operator, I would assume was the main villain. I mean, look at her. Cruella de Vil looking ass. She definitely skins little puppies and kittens to turn them into fucking beanies.
Even invite the neighbors out with this chorus.
Back with the gang, they run into a Victorian patrol led by the Special Forces friend group leader. Back with Puzzle, he's musing about how the County Hillock situation could have had 2 leaders. After all, to a Reddit mod like him, all women are the same. Harmony, meanwhile, debates where to go on holiday when her value to Oblana inevitably runs out, and lies as naturally as she breathes about Loshini. Back with the Terrans, despite being warned about the Dublin soldiers being mindless puppets, they still try and communicate with them. But instead of giving gifts and giving life, these puppets straight up try to murk them. Which I guess the FNAF puppet also does. Later, Selman goes back to try and find her brother and stop him from, living as a corpse with anger management issues where she almost dies. But good guy Reed saves the day again. The second half of the chapter begins with an Oblana monologue about how epic their family's flames are, and how Reed needs to stop being such a fucking pussy about it. Reed also realizes that Oblana's Hustler U courses didn't actually work, and she couldn't even show enough of a top G aura to get her parents to take her to a bookstore. She also has more flashbacks to her sister's various crimes, such as the Tomato Town Massacre of 1094. Laushini, we can do anything now. What do you want? An RTX 4090? What? No. We can do literally anything. Take over a nation, black mark drug kingpins. Professional sports could be fun. I want to complete my rig. If it wasn't for those stupid, inbred, social anxiety, no parents, scalping, fucking, I would be able to finally use the highest graphics settings in every game. Wow, this is literally the angriest I've ever seen you. And it's over a PC part. Of course it is. Those Agashi fucks and those damn Colombian suppliers, I hate them! Yeah, okay, I hear you. So I'll take over all of Victoria, and I'll see what I can do about the graphics card. Back with Selman and Reed, we get some of Selman's backstory before her brother got game-ended by Oblana. She asks Reed if the glorious dream that her brother got turned into a meat muppet for was real, and who's gonna tell her? It's later now, and Rhodes has provided some big-ass industrial tents. I Everyone is feeling super happy, real good vibes. Everyone starts drinking and singing, some of that good old patty fun, I tell you. Everyone sits at the hellfire of the grand vibes. And Bagpipe steals bread from a child. While that's happening, Chen brags about Lungman tea. Okay, buddy, tea is just water and a bunch of leaves. Have I sufficiently riled up the British audience with that one? Of course, all good things must come to an end, and the 4chan man with a plan, Puzzle, will see to it that these dirty Tarans meet their end. Mostly just Reed. He preps some smokes and pushes B right into the campsite and starts tying up the Terrans. Puzzle douchily moves in on Reed and takes her for some interrogation into the tent. Now this man is absolutely going giga asshat mode, like he is verbally jerking himself off like a femboy Narcissus. I have a very good grasp of the situation. You're one of those disgusting Draco. Wouldn't you like to know, city boy? There's no doubt. Your hair, the subtle off-white coloring, the tasteful thickness of it. Oh my god. What? Stop stiffing my hair, you creep. This is why I hate you hoes, never giving a nice guy like me a chance. Outside, Bagpipe and Chen prep to do something crazy. Meanwhile, Harmony and the Briggy Boy show up following the tracks that Puzzle left. What clear tracks? Reminds me of moose tracks, which reminds me of ice cream, which reminds me of Dippin' Dots. Why are you so depressed over the shittiest ice cream brand in existence going out of business? Oh my god, men are heartless. Have you ever even cried? The end of Kirby's yarn, when Kirby must leave his new friend Prince Fluff. It still breaks me down to this day. Back in the tent, Puzzle gives Reed an ultimatum. Come under the Victorian government's protection, or go back to dropping traitors in the Burger King deep fryer. She chooses option 3, burn down the tent and starts Usain Bolt sprinting into the woods. The gang were tied out in the woods like some weird Blair Witch sex cult, and after getting free are looking for a way to get back and help out Reed. Meanwhile, the multi-ethnic dragon coalition is trying to run off into the forest, but the Victorians aren't happy with letting them go too soon. However, it's not really their choice, as now Dublin is throwing down in the campsite. Hey there, girlfriend. It's been so long. How is my best friend in the whole world? I've been wishing you got hit by a bus every day since I left Dublin. Okay. I did not see that rebuttal coming. Reed is so fed up with these people coming to drag her away that she finally unleashes the ancient power of the Sriracha Spear, which Bagpipe spots and realizes that she saw someone doing something just like that, barbecuing entire city blocks. Reed's only move left is the Joestar family technique. Speaking of JoJo references, the tied up Terrans, sounds like a band name, get up and gang curb stomp the Victorian soldiers and then scatter. However, they elect to pull off a pro gamer move and get back in the fight, stealing weapons from the guys they just clapped. FC7 has another flashback of the dinner party with his goober. The whole gang is at this point going on the prowl and chasing a woman who's alone at night. Meanwhile, Reed gets smacked around by the bridge man and told her ambitions are stupid and short-sighted. But I think that just shows how privileged he is. After all, in this economy, home ownership, even something small in the middle of nowhere, is a pipe dream for many people. Puzzle, meanwhile, confronts Chen, who's trying to get to the Tarans. I have a riddle for you. What's short, insecure, and with a tiny micro-penis? I mean, you? How did you find out? Who told you? No one can possibly gather that for themselves. There are these women always relying on their inherent value instead of creating it like me, a high-value male. Wow, he's such a loser. Puzzle already tried to get Chen to back down, but after that doesn't work, he turns to Bagpipe and offers her the opportunity to interrogate people. Yeah, he doesn't seem to understand people very well. He poetically monologues about his importance and how he must be utterly perfect to ensure war doesn't break out. Yeah, fat load of good that's doing for you right now, my dude. Selman is fighting in the woods with Morin until more Dublin show up and tell them to go somewhere safe. Thanks, man. We'll just go into creative mode, build a floating castle. Like, where here is safe for Tarans? Because evidently there aren't many locations. Reed is still getting beaten up and called a pussy and a hypocrite for not wanting to kill all the normal people like her sister. But genius, if you kill everyone, now you got no one left to even rule over. So what's even the point? Wow, this went downhill for you fast. Want a bevy? I've got extras. Typical women, always ruining everything. Yeah. Hey, Orange, you realize you messed up again by trying to be a hero, right?
Shut up, bitch!
Oh, there she goes. Well, time to brutally murder everyone who knows too much. I gotta get back to imprisoning everyone I talk to. Perhaps we're not so different, you and I. Wanna, get dinner sometime? Listen, you look peggable and all, but that's never gonna happen. Back with Selman, she's all out of adrenaline, and that's not good, considering she got donut punched in the last fight. Devastated by the failure of his operation, Puzzle reports on his failures to the least violent Philadelphia Eagles fan, who tells him to leave the murdering of potential informants to her and go tune into Old Man McCarthy from the pub. I mean, the Duke of Wellington. Reed, meanwhile, is trying to get her Shadow Wizard money gang away, because she doesn't really like casting spells and isn't actually sponsored by the Shadow government. She does want to legalize nuclear bombs, though. She sends some random messenger to a made-up address in the middle of nowhere, sorry province, and after that, Reed's fake Dublin should be safe. Theon confesses to being the reason they all have to run, but it's understandable. If you go around assaulting 14-year-old girls, I'd bash your head in with a hoe too. You hear that, Blue Archive fans? Start running. Fade to black, and we get more Oblana monologue about how Reed may be a silly little dum-dum dragon, but she'll make the right choice in the end. We then see her and the old man Duke of Wellington aboard a land battleship, which I do gotta say is cool as hell. I really hope we see things like this in Enfield, because it's such a cool concept. Anyways, they're talking about their plans, and how the Aslans are a bunch of scared little nene babies. The Tarans will lay waste to all in our path. Carnage, death, and the flames of war will surround all, until there is nothing left. Why are you looking at me like that? When I was your age, you were but a twinkle in your father's balls. Now you're creating a twinkle in mine. The cycle continues. Alright, yeah, whatever, old man. Just set course already. You completely ruined my train of thought. Damn, is that a second League of Legends name? Yeah, that's the long-winded man from the flashbacks who Oblana murders and starts sending Clash Royale emotes at. Ah, the memories. To be back in middle school again. Anyways, Oblana murks Catboy Gandalf, so that the situation surrounding the Terrans will worsen to the point where they'll all rise up in a revolution so she can lead. Now, goddamn, that is evil. I can get behind Oblana as a villain after this story. This is some real dictator use the people's fear and hatred stuff. Damn, this is getting a bit serious. I noticed Chen has something kind of like a little cock bulge in this event. Not sure if that's relevant. Just reporting it. Starting out, we're at the Gael Castle. Now this may sound like a Dark Souls area, but it's basically just a bunch of stone dildos in the Highlands after being destroyed by a catastrophe. Looking to go into the castle, they find more dead people who got turned into Minecraft villagers by Oblana. And not even the good ones. The ones that trade like 5 emeralds for a fucking clock. They traverse the fog, and inevitably Reed runs into a boss fight. Initially it's her own fears as she's arguing with Vanguard Reed. A real man versus self situation. But it's okay, there's no way she'd lose. After all, who the fuck uses normal Reed? Pioneer Vanguards are bagpipe or useless. Versus Rhodes Island's most violent medic? Which is quite the title, when the old hag is competing for it. Her Gollum moment where she needs to choose her Frodo of the Taurens or her Precious of her sister continues, until she realizes she's now older and uses seniority to send younger Reed to her room. Now the hologram drug trip illusion thingy turns into Oblana, and Reed starts remembering back to her L era, where she was the shitty Netflix adaptation of her sister. A real direct-to-DVD sequel of a person. Go on, my beloved sister. Prove to me that you can face me. That you can take off— Oh my god, not you two. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just opening an Excel spreadsheet and prepping my taxes while we're fighting. What? Why? It's that stupid shield. It takes like a year to break, so I might as well do something productive. After Reed wins out against her demons in the form of the ultra-rare holographic fever dream of her sister, she says she's fine with being a shadow. But not the hedgehog, the concept of an ideal leader. She even first uses her arts to actually heal, which has to be terrifying to be the first person to have it tested on. Imagine you're in the hospital, and the doctor comes in with a flamethrower for a new experimental treatment. But hey, it's still better than the US healthcare system, so you know, take the good with the bad. As Dublin members board the ship, and Reed saves more people, her and her sister both give speeches about the future of the Taurens, but they're like hilariously different. Vengeance will be ours. Long have we suffered in silence. Finally, we will get revenge once we've glassed all of their cities. And then we'll plant the happiest trees and make quaint little houses, finally happy and secure in our domain. We will slaughter them, down to the last man. All who resist will be made an example of. My glowing purple dragon tits will be the symbol of a new age. And there will be unicorns, poetry, and we're gonna find a way to make cake, but not so sugary and bad for you because I'm watching my carbs. We'll all dance around the fire and sing happy songs. Now let's take this army to Londinium and fuck 'em all to death! Let's spread peace and love to all of Tara, man. She's acting a little weird. Is something wrong with her? Nah, she just got into my edibles. She gets like this when she's on the Zaza. The final chapter begins with the brigand boy Wonder and Harmony now on board the battleship, and as usual the two are bickering back and forth. Harmony really sent Mandragora to get killed, only to realize she'd lost the best person to be a victim of her being a born hater. Honestly, as a born hater myself, I can respect the grind to find something to shit on, as we also see Harmony infiltrating Rhodes in this moment due to our background check system that makes purchasing weapons in the US look impossible in comparison. Ablana continues with her weird love-hate relationship with her sister. Chen and Bagpipe are having a happy, fun time smiling friends conversation until Chen fixes their radio and they realize war is broken out. Back with Puzzle, he's in the place Fionn settled and sees the battleship coming straight for Fionn's house. But Puzzle has to get back to making his daily episode of his Alpha Male podcast, and no time like the present to hop in the whip and get back to hating. As for his whole stopping war thing,
it's not looking good, Bev. It's not looking good.
Thanks for watching. This video no doubt took me hours of rushing to get out at a relevant time if the script writing process was anything to go by. So hopefully people like it. If you do, check out my other videos. I got videos like this for Near Light, operators, NPCs, even Arknights content creators. With all that being said, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time.